Good afternoon, this is Jeremy Williams with Sewer Line Check Professionals here at 4423 Ambrose Terrace in Los Angeles, performing a video examination of the main sewer line. Going to be entering in the line today through a main roof vent. The reason for which is that no main sewer line cleanout exists for the property. From this main vent we drop down the vertical piping. This is just venting we're in here. Let's drop right into the actual main building drain pipe. Now the main sewer line is defined as the portion of waste drainage piping that is exterior to the structure. It lies underground. It connects the building drainage system, which again we're in now, to the city sewer, which is typically found underneath the street. Now the building drainage system is defined as the portion of waste drainage piping that is underneath or interior to the structure. This examination does not focus on the building drainage system. However, obviously given the point of entry, we are seeing a bit of it. And we do like to report on the condition of any pipe that we see occurring. The cast iron material that we're in is a metal. It rusts and corrodes. It's got a design life expectancy of about 60 to 80 years. Its failure is completely related to the pipe wall thinning out to a point where cracks or holes start to form in the piping. It just happens over all the years of rusting and corroding. The pipe walls start off at a certain thickness and then are just constantly thinning out. The trick with cast iron is that no test exists that will tell us how much pipe wall is left in any one area. So it's impossible to predict when it's going to fail. The best way to detect failure in cast iron, there's two, depending on the situation. First, the very best is to look at the piping from an exterior view. This is only possible when the piping is under the house. A lot of this is. And then if it's leaking, you can actually see the leaking occurring. From the inner wall of the pipe, it takes on this scaly, rusted look quite early on. And it's impossible to know if it's leaking just by looking at it from the inside. From the outside, however, obviously you can. Now, in a main sewer line application, which I believe at least portions of this cast iron are, the biggest indication of failure are root intrusions. Roots only intrude into cast iron once cracks or holes have opened up in the piping. And if cracks or holes have opened up in the piping, there are definitely plenty of roots in the ground and they will come flooding into that constant water source. Right now, while we're seeing age and the pipe looks original, we're not seeing any indication of failure, which is good. In a main sewer line application, if we're not seeing failure, then the only other thing that you can really do is to monitor the pipe with video examinations like this one every couple of years, which will help to detect failures at their earliest stages. Again, failures being root intrusions. I'm moving a little quickly here just because when you're moving forward in older cast iron, the camera will be constantly becoming a little fogged. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get to the city sewer connection, clean the camera lens off, and then we're going to come backwards. Now, we have, a short while ago, transitioned into a material called vitrified clay, which is easily the most common piping material for main sewer lines. That's our city sewer connection we just dropped into right there. So if we can't get this camera lens cleared. Vitrified clay is considered a good material for sewer lines, primary reason for which it does not rust or corrode over time, so quite the opposite of cast iron. Clay at least has a potential for an unlimited lifespan. Clay does have a couple of things to contend with. They're its main causes for issue. The first of those issues is clay's not a flexible material, so it's more susceptible to seismic damage than other piping materials. Cast iron being a great example. Newer plastics are an even better example. That being said, I would not categorize clay as being overly fragile. However, it should definitely be looked at after any major earth movement. The other, and the more common issue in clay, is it is unique in that it's one of only two materials that can actually allow for roots to intrude in through the joints of the piping without it being an indication that the pipe has somehow failed. It's typically just a maintenance concern. However, it's important to know that clay piping relies very heavily on that maintenance routine. It's usually about once every year, every 8 to 12 months. Failure to properly maintain roots in clay piping can result in not only blockages, which are quite annoying, but it can also result in actual damage being caused. Damage that could have otherwise been avoided with proper maintenance. And at times, damage that's rather costly. Like the pipe, probably right where we're at, has got a value of around $10,000 because of its location underneath the middle of the street. This is about as clear as we're going to get the camera. We can see pretty well, so we'll go ahead and start moving backwards. I'm going to be just looking for any flaws in this clay piping. I definitely saw some root intrusions as we were pushing through, which we'll see in a moment. With those roots, we just want to make sure that they're coming in right at a joint, that they haven't damaged the pipe in any significant way. It's definitely an older clay system. This is a joint. You can see the roots coming in there. You can even see some of the mortar. Ready to be cleaned, but they're nowhere near a backup. But again, you really don't want them to get near a backup. Getting near a backup can result in that damage. That's when they gain that ability or that potential to actually damage the pipe. And there's the start of the clay. So the clay, for the most part, not quite yet, maybe here. Yeah, that's the start of the clay. So the clay's doing okay for the most part. One of the biggest issues right now is that there is no main sewer line cleanout. This access point used today is not a suitable point of entry into the system for maintenance of the line. It could be done, but it would be subpar. Which is why main sewer line cleanouts have been a code requirement for a very long time, since about 1936. Main sewer line cleanouts are defined as entrance points into main sewer lines within 2 feet of the pipe having exited from underneath the structure. So basically, within 2 feet of the building drainage system becoming the main sewer line. I will most definitely be recommending that a main sewer line cleanout be installed at this time and that a good thorough cleaning of the line be performed. You can see the cast iron at one point was quite round. You can't see that, but you can see how now it's flattening out and kind of valleying on the bottom. It looks like we're going up and down. Just another sign of its age. But again, at this point, I'm not seeing anything that I can identify as a clear indication of failure. It could end up being quite a few years before you get to that point. There's really no way to know other than to keep monitoring it. This is about the start of the main sewer line. We exit off to the right of the structure and then turn right along the driveway. So I'm going to go ahead and locate this area and indicate it. Refer to the written report for its location, pipe depth, any other pertinent information. And just to kind of very quickly recap, installation of the main cleanout, quite important. Good thorough cleaning of the line, also very important. After the initial cleaning, a regular maintenance routine. Every 8 to 12 months from that point forward, the line should be cleaned. You do not want to wait for a backup. You do not want to wait for something to remind you. Other than that, we would also advise the line be examined after any significant seismic activity, as all clay systems especially should be. And every couple of years, just to monitor that cast iron piping. And that is going to conclude the video portion of this examination. Again, this is Jeremy Williams with Sewer Line Check Professionals. Thank you very much, and have a great day.